Good evening, everyone. Glad to meet you all. Before we start our forum today, let me introduce my friend. Here we have Kesh, Rubenesh, Hui Han, Dashinya, Mita, and myself, Eric. Today, we are going to have a discussion about how does the system work in human body. Have you even wondered who are we and what are we? Actually, all us are made from a single cell. Then, gradually become a multicellular organism by the effort of cell division. To prove this statement, we must first know the cell theory. In cell theory, it said that the cell is the smallest living unit in all organisms. All living things are made of cells, and also all cells come from other pre-existing cells. Now we know that cell is the smaller unit in all organisms. So Dashinya, could you tell us how does a cell form a system in human body?
So Eric, I would like to start with the lymphatic system, which is a network of tissues, vessels, and organs that work together to move a colorless watery fluid called lymph back into our circulatory system. Cells that make up the lymphatic system are white blood cells, while the tissue which forms the basic structure of lymphoid organs is lymphoid tissue. Organs that make up the lymphatic system are bone marrow, thymus, spleen, and lymph nodes. You may wonder why are the lymphatic and immune system are linked together. Well, the lymphatic system protects our body against foreign invaders. Therefore, the lymphatic system is part of the immune system. The cells of the immune system are lymphocytes, neutrophils, and monocytes. Organs and tissues of the immune system include the bone marrow, spleen, thymus, tonsils, mucous membranes, and skin. Furthermore, the lymphatic vessels of the immune system carry immune cells which converge in lymph nodes found throughout the body. I will pass the rest to Ruben.
Today I'll be talking about muscle system. So muscle system is basically made up of muscle cells which are cylindrical and has multiple nucleus. The nucleus are always located in the peripheral aspect of muscle just under plasma membrane. So a group of muscle cells make up muscle tissues which consists of different types of tissues. For example, the skeletal muscle which are attached to skeleton by tendons and functions in voluntary muscle movement. Next, we have smooth muscles which are always found in walls of intestine, stomach, and other external organs and functions in movement of substance in lumen. And finally, we have cardiac muscle which are found in walls of heart and functions in pumping blood. So there are four main functions of muscular system. First of all, it can generate heat, it allows movement, maintains posture, and usage of energy is connected with muscular system.
I want to discuss about the integumentary system. The integumentary system is made up of several organs and structures including the skin, hair, nails, glands, and nerves. The primary function of the integumentary system is to protect the inside of the body from elements in the environment, like bacteria, pollution, and UV rays from the sun. The skin and its associated structures also retain bodily fluids, waste products, and regulate the body temperature. The integumentary system works with all other bodily systems such as the nervous, cardiovascular, and digestive system to accomplish all the jobs it performs in helping to maintain the stability of the internal body. The integumentary systems includes skin, hair, nails, exocrine glands, and sensory nerves.
Thank you, Hoihan. Today I'll be talking about the cardiovascular system in the human body. First off, what is the cardiovascular system? Well, the cardiovascular system is very related to the blood circulatory system. It's actually a system of organs that include the heart, blood vessels such as arteries, veins, and blood capillaries. As the name implies, blood contained in the circulatory system is pumped by the heart around a closed circle of vessels. It passes again and again through various circulations of the body. The heart, which I would consider the main organ in the system, acts as a pump to make sure it pumps oxygen-rich blood throughout the body and carries back the deoxygenated blood to the lungs, and also makes sure that nutrients are supplied to the body cells. Other than that, the system also supports immune functions by carrying immune cells to their destinations. If you go deeper, the organs that are involved in the system are actually made up of various tissues. For instance, take the heart. There are cardiac muscle tissues, nerve tissues, epithelial tissues, and even connective tissues present in it. Now, let's hear about the nervous system from Amrita.
Thanks, Kesh, and hello, I'm Amrita. Today I would like to explain to you guys on nervous system. What is the nervous system? Your nervous system guides almost everything you do, think, say, or feel. It controls complicated processes like movement, thought, and memory. It also plays an essential role in the things your body does without thinking, such as breathing and blinking. The main parts of the nervous system are central nervous system (CNS) and peripheral nervous system. Your brain and spinal cord make up your CNS. Your brain uses your nerves to send messages to the rest of your body. Each nerve has a protective outer layer called myelin. Myelin insulates the nerve and helps the messages to get through. Your peripheral nervous system consists of many nerves that branch out from a CNS all over your body. This system relays information from your brain and spinal cord to your organs, arms, legs, fingers, and toes. Next, I would like to hand over to Eric.
So, Mita, digestive system is a system that involves the breakdown of food that we eat into a smaller and smaller component until they can be absorbed and assimilated into our body. The main organ that form the digestive system is mouth, esophagus, liver, pancreas, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and anus. How this organ work? For example, the exocrine tissue in pancreas will secrete the enzyme like lipase, amylase to break down protein and carbohydrate into its smaller unit. And also, the exocrine tissue of pancreas will secrete bicarbonate to neutralize the stomach acid in duodenum. Digestion is important because our body needs the nutrient from the food that we eat and the liquid that we drink to stay healthy and function properly. Digestion also been used in important things like cell repairing, growth, and energy. Kesh, do you know how does the respiratory system work in human body? And do you mind explain it for us?
Yeah, sure, Eric. The respiratory system is the system where its main job is to move oxygen into the body while removing waste gases from the body. The main organ in this system is the lungs. Lungs are paired cone-shaped organs that lie on either side of the heart and within the thoracic cavity. The right lung has 3 lobes, while the left lung has 2 lobes, allowing for the space to be occupied by the heart. The lungs are also bounded by the ribs and the diaphragm. So, how does the respiratory system work? Well, first off, the air enters the body through the nostrils and enters the nasal cavity. There, the air is then cleaned, warmed, and moistened as it passes the cilia and the mucus present in the nostril and the nasal cavity. Cilia are microtubule-based light hair organelles. In the nose, the hairs and the cilia act as a screening device so that foreign particles do not enter the body. The air then meets at the pharynx, which is at the back of the nose and the mouth. If the foreign particle does enter the body, the cilia in the trachea beat upward, carrying foreign particles and mucus into the pharynx. At the bottom of the pharynx, the pathway divides into 2. One is for food, which leads to the esophagus, and the other one that leads to the epiglottis, which prevents food from entering the trachea during swallowing. After that, the air proceeds to enter the trachea, which is also lined up with cilia, which sweeps up fluids and foreign particles out of the airway. Air then enters the bronchi, which connects to the lungs, and within the lungs, the bronchi branches into smaller tubes called bronchioles. Bronchioles end in tiny air sacs called alveoli, which is only 1 millimeter thick, where gases exchange can happen. The total surface area of lungs is large compared to its volume because there are millions of alveoli present. Hence, gas exchange in the lungs happen very efficiently. Now let's hear more about the mechanism on how respiratory system works from Hui Han.
The mechanism of respiratory system is the movement of air in and out of the lungs due to pressure difference. The inhaling and exhaling air is called ventilation. Exchange of gases occur across the thin alveolar wall. Each alveolus is supplied with blood capillaries. The capillary wall and the wall of the alveolus is only 1 cell thick. Therefore, the distance for gases to diffuse is not a significant barrier. The direction of diffusion follows the concentration gradient of the gases. Oxygen dissolves across the moist surface of the alveoli and diffuses into red blood cells. It becomes attached to hemoglobin. A gas exchange in the alveoli. After circulating through the body tissues, blood is pumped to the lungs by the heart. The incoming blood surrounding the alveoli is low in oxygen because the body cells have used it up. High in carbon dioxide, which is released by the cells. In the alveoli, oxygen diffuses into the blood, which is low concentration of oxygen in the blood. And carbon dioxide diffuses out of the blood into the alveoli. Blood from the lungs is oxygenated and purged of carbon monoxide. Blood returns to the heart is pumped into body tissues. In the tissues, the concentration of oxygen is lower than the blood, so oxygen diffuses into the cells. Carbon dioxide, which has built up in the cells, diffuses into the blood.
We all know that oxygen and carbon dioxide are the two most important gases for our body to function well. Either too low or too high of both of these gases will cause serious complications, so they should be always balanced. So today we're talking about oxygen and carbon dioxide transport. So for oxygen, one hemoglobin can bind with 4 oxygen molecules. In lungs, hemoglobin combines with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin, while in tissue, oxyhemoglobin converts into hemoglobin plus 4 oxygen molecules, thus proving it is a reversible reaction. Now, hemoglobin undergoes obvious changes after binding. For example, deoxygenated blood has a dark maroon red color, while oxygenated blood maintains a cherry red color. Okay, that is all for oxygen transport. For CO2 transport, there are 3 different ways. First of all, 70% of carbon dioxide reacts with water in the presence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme to form bicarbonate ion. This bicarbonate ion later will diffuse into plasma. Now there are balance of 30%. So in those 30%, 20% of carbon dioxide binds to hemoglobin for a return trip to lungs, while the balance 10% remains dissolved in plasma as carbon dioxide. Now some activities will disrupt the flow of gas, such as smoking, which will fool the hemoglobin into binding with carbon monoxide to form carboxyhemoglobin, which will result in the body getting low oxygen, thus causing serious complications. That is all for me. Thank you.
Hello, I am going to talk about urinary system. The urinary system consists of the kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. The kidneys form the urine and account for the other functions attributed to the urinary system. The ureters carry the urine away from kidneys to the urinary bladder, which is a temporary reservoir for the urine. The urethra is a tubular structure that carries the urine from the urinary bladder to the outside. Kidneys located below the ribs toward the middle of the back. Their function is to remove waste products and medicines from the body and balance the body's fluid. Ureters are narrow tubes that carry urine from the kidneys to the bladder. While the bladder's wall relax and expand to store urine, they contract and flatten to empty urine through the urethra. Last but not least, urethra allows urine to pass outside the body. That's all from me, and I would like to pass to Darsh.
Following from what Mita said, the body takes nutrients from food and converts them to energy. After the body has taken the food components that it needs, waste products are left behind in the bowel and in the blood. The kidney and urinary system help the body to eliminate urea and to keep potassium and sodium and water in balance. Urea is carried in the bloodstream to the kidneys, where it is removed along with water and other waste in the form of urine. The urinary system is regulated by the endocrine system by hormones such as aldosterone, antidiuretic hormone, and parathyroid hormone. Aldosterone plays a central role in regulating blood pressure through its effects on the kidney. It causes the kidneys to excrete less sodium and water in urine. It acts on the distal tubules and collecting ducts of the nephron and increases reabsorption of sodium from the glomerular filtrate. Antidiuretic hormone, also called vasopressin, is secreted by the hypothalamus to conserve body water. It is released when the body is dehydrated and causes the kidneys to excrete less water in urine. Parathyroid hormone regulates the balance of mineral ions in the body through its effect on several organs including the kidneys. Parathyroid hormone stimulates the kidneys to excrete less calcium and more phosphorus in the urine. Each of us has a pair of kidneys. This pair of organs function to remove waste products and drugs from the body, balance the body's fluids, and release hormones to regulate blood pressure. Next, there are two ureters. These narrow tubes carry urine from the kidneys to the bladder. Muscles in the ureter walls continually tighten and relax, forcing urine downwards, away from the kidneys. Moreover, there is also a bladder. This triangle-shaped hollow organ is located in the lower abdomen. It is held in place by ligaments that are attached to other organs and the pelvic bones. The bladder's walls relax and expand to store urine and contract and flatten to empty urine through the urethra. Next, there are two sphincter muscles. These circular muscles help keep urine from leaking by closing tightly like a rubber band around the opening of the bladder. There are also nerves in the bladder. The nerves alert a person when it is time to urinate or empty the bladder. Finally, there is urethra. This tube allows urine to pass outside the body. At the same time, the brain signals the sphincter muscle to relax to let urine exit the bladder through the urethra. When all the signals occur in the correct order, normal urination occurs. I'll pass the rest to Eric.
Urinary system play the important role in osmoregulation. Osmoregulation is a regulation of amount of solute and water in body to maintain the osmotic pressure of tissue fluid and also the blood. So now, I'm gonna to explain how this osmoregulation works. When we eat too much of salt or lack of water intake, then the water content in blood will become too low. Therefore, the osmotic pressure will become higher, so that the osmoreceptor in hypothalamus will be stimulated and will send the impulse to pituitary gland to release a lot of antidiuretic hormone (ADH). ADH will increase the permeability of collecting duct to water, so that high volume of water will reabsorb by the kidney, then will produce the concentrated urine. When high volume of water pass into the blood, the osmotic pressure will drop to normal. Sometimes, when the reabsorption of water in collecting duct is not enough, hypothalamus will also stimulate us to encourage the individual to drink water. Once the osmotic pressure in blood back to normal, this negative feedback mechanism stops. When we drink too much of water, the water content of blood become too high, so that the osmotic pressure will become too low. Then, the osmoreceptor in hypothalamus will stop send the impulse to pituitary gland to release ADH. This reduces the permeability of collecting duct to the water, so that low volume of water will reabsorb by the kidney. Therefore, this produces the dilute urine. As the result, osmotic pressure will rise to normal. That's all our discussion today. Does anyone has any problem regarding today's discussion? If not, thanks for a fruitful and stimulating discussion. Then we'll see you all in the future. Bye bye.